Andrea, it's Dr. Camry. I'd like to give you some feedback on your alignment and on your overview on the discussion board. So, in your overview on the discussion board, I'm not finding you, other than listing out the broad-based theories, constructivism, behavioralism, cognitism, and humanism, but that's all I'm finding, so we need a little bit more than that on the discussion board. But let's take a look at your mind map. Okay. So I found this mind map to be interesting. It was different from the others. You chose a different tool, which is always great. So two-fold capillary insertion. This is what you're looking at, right? Okay. So got behavioralism here, right? And off of behavioralism, I'm seeing here theorists. Okay. So I have theorists for behavioralism. You have Skinner and operant conditioning. So if you were just going to focus on Skinner and operant conditioning, that would be here, right? So that would be your theory rather than this broad-based theory. Because if you're starting with a broad-based theory, right, and then you've got an offshoot, it should be all of the theorists, right? For all the theorists, or more than one, which would be things like for behavioralism would be like Pavlov and Watson and Thorndike, as well as Skinner, to give me a sense of that you knew that this was a very broad-based theory. Remember, behavioralist theories are often passive, right? And they are responsive, if you will, to stimuli, right? So let's see what we see here. So your view of learning should come off of the theory, right? That basic theory. So if it was just operant conditioning, it would come off of here, right? So I'm going to assume, since you have behavioralism here as your central theory, believe that person learns through consequences of overt behavior, right? So that would be more Skinnerish than all of behavioralism. So I'm assuming now that we're talking just about Skinner. So you can see how this is kind of confusing with having behavioralism down here, right? Pieces are stored in a mental cabinet, kind of, right? We're talking about Skinner, and it's the consequences of behavior with positive and negative reinforcement, right? And that's what you want to learn. So, or how students will learn that, right? And the view of knowledge is that information is processed, right? And occurs, and that knowledge occurs through the process of either gravitating toward positive reinforcement or avoiding negative reinforcement. The stick and the carrot. Okay. So, role of the educator, right? This isn't instructing forward facing techniques in a classroom or clinical setting. Would be more down here, right? And how it will inform the learning. The role of the educator, clearly establishing approaches, providing positive reinforcement, and also some of that constructive feedback in it, which some students return negative feedback or negative reinforcement when students aren't behaving in the way that you want them to behave to be successful. The role of the student is to work to achieve that goal or behavior, not necessarily showing competency skills, but work to achieve the goal and the behavior through positive reinforcement. Right? And then here, student masters tasks from positive reinforcement and guidance in weak areas. So here I think this does not have to do with how it informs forward capillary insertion. What we want to talk about here is talk about techniques, right, and the things that you're going to do in the classroom. Okay, so here you have constructivism. Right, constructivism is a broad theory. So I'm looking for actually more than one theorist, right? It wouldn't be just Bandura. And Bandura is actually he's actually a bridge between cognitism and his social learning theory is a bridge between behavioralism and cognitism, not constructivism. So constructivist theories are building theories. So that would be theories like Bandura's theory, not Bandura's theory, Bruner's theory, Dewey's theory, Hertz's theory. That's a building theory where one one piece of content builds on another. So Bandura is more aligned with behavioralism and cognitism, often behavioralist. He's often seen as behavioralist, but definitely not a constructivist. Let's go over here. So we have humanism, and the theorists that are aligned with behavioralism are people like Maslow, Rogers, right? And not behavioralism, I'm sorry. So we're looking at humanism here. So humanism, you're talking about Maslow, Rogers, right? Werner, not Werner, Burton, yeah, Brenkenthal, and there are specific theories, right? And all of these theorists, right, have specific theories, right? And knowledge is gained by valuing self and becoming confident in what they know. Well, when you look at humanists or a humanist stance, it is student-driven, right? And it's on their own time, right? And they're working toward something due to an internal need for that knowledge, an internal quest for that knowledge, right? And that's what it's built on. And so it's unique and individual in that sense, right? The process of developing potential and becoming self-actualized is how people learn, yes, I would agree. And then the view of knowledge is gained by being confident and having experiences with, right, with the content. So experiencing the content through the lens of being confident and understanding that they can learn how to learn, right? That they're assured of themselves, right? The role of the educator is to create a learning environment, self-development, absolutely, and modeling behaviors, absolutely. The learners are responsible for their own learning and determining their own needs, right? And that is often accomplished by the educator knowing something about the students, right? So having conversations with the students to figure out just exactly what they are going to need, right? Cognitivism is, I call it the computer theory of learning and knowledge, because cognitivists are very focused on processing, right? And almost looking at the brain and learning like a computer, right? So you picked, again, one theorist. There are multiple cognitivist theorists, including Vygotsky, right? So there are multiple theorists in this realm, and that would need to be noted here, right? The view of learning is based on order, process, and organization. Acknowledge that is correct. The role of the educator is, this is more how the theory informs, right? Fully Cather is insertion, not the role of the educator. Is what does the educator provide in a type of environment? So it would be structure, order, and process, and content, right? And the role of the student would be, again, processing information, extracting information in a process type way, not an outcome of the specific interventions here that you would use for learning, right? So that the student masters chronological steps of task in order could be the role of the student, right? They're mastering tasks in order. Dave, but you're a little confused here with your mind map. I can see you've got some confusion going on here. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me, and you may want to talk to me before you jump into your paper about the specific theory and theorists that you're going to write about, and just to kind of break out exactly what you want to put in each section. Okay? All right, so I look forward to hearing from you soon, Andrea, and hopefully this was helpful.